So the CS2 market's just hit an all-time high once again, and this isn't the first time this has happened. Obviously, the markets have been doing very, very well and going up a lot recently, but this time things are a little bit different because the markets have been going extra crazy lately. Some items just, exploding in price in an amount of time that hasn't always made sense, and there's some people who are excited. Their inventory, their items, everything's going up, they're making money, everything's going good, but there's also some people that are worried about, market manipulation or unsustainable growth, or that things are about to be coming crashing right back down on our heads. So in this video today, we need to talk about everything that has been going on with the market lately and what maybe is going to happen from here as well. Today's video is sponsored by Pirate Swap, an automated CS2 trading platform where you can turn your skins into new ones simple and easy. All you have to do is click on the skins that you want to get rid of and then click on the new skins that you want to own and select confirm trade. It's that simple, it's that easy. And Pirate Swap has an amazing collection of skins, so you will definitely be able to find something that you like. And if you use the discount code GERM on Pirate Swap today, you're actually going to be able to claim a free $10 bonus and be able to get a 35% deposit bonus as well. So it's an awesome site with awesome features offering you an amazing discount. So there's no reason to not go check out Pirate Swap with that first link in the description below today. And thank you to them for sponsoring this video. So obviously, like I showed at the beginning, this tweet from Counter-Strike News, another all-time high has been reached in the CS2 skins market cap. The market cap has surpassed 4.5 billion, marking the highest value in CS history, which is very, very, very crazy. And obviously, the graph has been looking really good lately. Things have just been going up throughout 2025. 2025 has been a good year. The market continues to grow, and on the flip side, the player base continues to grow as well. Skin prices are going up. Unboxing numbers are really, really strong. And once again, April looks to be like a time period where the player base is growing. It's only a small number, only like 1% player base growth in April. But after, 6 straight months of player base growth, 1% is not bad, and things keep going strong. Even if things just stayed stable, things would be staying stable at a very, very nice number. Average players, almost 1.5 million, and not 1.5 million, but like 1.05, 1 million, and then like half 100,000 is what I was trying to say. It's not even a thing, but yeah, 1.05 million as those average players. Peak players looking really strong as well. Things are looking good, but there is some trouble with this time in the markets right now because obviously we have seen some things dropping recently. The OG Armory items, stuff like the Sport and Field collection, stuff like the Overpass 2025 collection or 2024 collection. You have the Graphic Design collection. So that stuff has been getting hurt a lot. That thing has actually been going down. So the fact that people put so much money into stuff like the Desert Eagle Heat Treated and the OG Armory items, and they're going down, that's a big impact on the market. But the fact that the market is still breaking new barriers and still reaching all-time highs means some other stuff must be doing very, very well. And we have stuff like the Talon Knife Ruby. The graph looks absolutely insane. Again, in March, this thing was around 10,000 RMB, and it's now breaking 18,000 RMB, which, I don't know the RMB to US dollar conversions perfectly, but I know going from 10 to 18, hey, that sounds like 80% growth to me in like a month. That sounds insane. That sounds ridiculous. Now, some of this is obviously the fact that we have gotten Dopplers into CS2 now with the Fever case. It's brought a lot of new attention to Dopplers and gems and all this stuff. But also, obviously, there could be some market manipulation and things like that going on as well. And also, there could just be a little bit of a bubble. Not every time that prices go up does it need to be market manipulation. Sometimes it can be FOMO. Sometimes it can be people buying stuff up. Sometimes it can be, rich or big investors wanting to put a lot of money into this stuff. And guess what? The CS2 market is so small, and some of these items are so rare and so uncommon that one person trying to pile a significant amount of money into it, there's some big players in these markets, can really move the market in crazy, crazy, crazy ways. And there's people who are rich enough out there who they don't even care if, they're not necessarily buying at the best price. They want to have what they think are the most valuable, the most unique, the rarest items. And there's also people who are just trying to take advantage of this pump further. And obviously there's some people who are just buying some things at inopportune times as well. Thought this was super funny. There was kind of this meme going around where Cato Buff tweeted out, "Do you believe in God?" And this person said, "Nobody's an atheist when their knives increase 20% in 2 days but still have 4 days of trade hold left." And that's the craziest part about this current modern day market as well, is when people are speculating on these things and trying to take advantage of these short-term pumps, and they're trying to buy and they're going to sell like a week later and try and ride this new wave that's happening, all this stuff. It's like, yeah, you have the 7-day trade hold and anything can happen in that time because yes, Dopplers and gems and everything are hot right now. But also, Fever cases are getting really, really, really cheap. Fever cases have absolutely insane unboxing numbers, and they have the increased drop percentages of the Dopplers and the gems and everything. So even though Dopplers and gems are hot right now and people love them and they're pumping and, phase 2s are going to the moon and whatever, it's also possible we could get a nice little influx of Dopplers and gems and stuff hitting the markets in the next couple of weeks as the fever cases get cheaper and cheaper, and people are just going to be unboxing them more and more and more, and that can definitely cause some of these prices to crash, not only on the shattered web, Dopplers and gems and stuff like that, but also on some of those older things as well, because if, there's more rubies and more Dopplers and more gems and stuff out there, that could make some of the other ones go down a little bit in price as well. But it seems for right now, it's put the spotlight on some of those older gems and Dopplers and stuff, and it's made people want them even more because they're just kind of realizing how cool they are, or maybe just bringing their attention to them or whatever. This guy said, unpopular opinion, I'd like to see the skins market crash back to affordable prices. Paying $10.50 for Stiletto Doppler Phase 2 is not normal. And then guess what? Since that tweet, which is on April 6th, like about 2 weeks ago, Wig says this tweet, since the Stiletto Doppler Phase 2 is up by $250 to make it $1,300, almost a 20% increase. So this guy already thought prices were too high. He'd already thought prices were ridiculous. And then the price went up 20% more in just a matter of a couple days. Corbs tweeted out, the market continues to go crazy for all items across the board. What do people think? Manipulation or just a huge surge in demand? Pretty insane stuff. And here you can see, this is everything. This is all the high tier items. This is all the most expensive and highest market cap items in the entire game. Butterfly Knife Fade up 5% in a week. Hedge Maze up 6% in a week. Butterfly Knife Gamma Doppler up 9% in a week. Gungnir up 3.5% in a week. And again, these are not cheap items. These are not, like just small fluctuations. These are like hundreds, thousands of dollars worth of price movement all over the place for the most expensive, the most iconic, the rarest, the best items in all of CS2. You see some Karambits, you see Wild Lotus, you see a Dragon Lore, all this different stuff, and you just see green across the board. 60 days, 30 days, a week, 24 hours, green, 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 green on all of these expensive high tier items, which is just crazy. I mean, we don't really go through periods like that all that often. But one of the biggest takeaways from these past couple of weeks has been CS2 Doppler Phase 2 knives exploding in price. We have seen Phase 2s rising up in a big, big, big way. And in some ways, this is maybe a little bit predictable, but also this is, I think, a lot due to the Fever case as well. Again, the Fever case has similar drop rates for all the different knives. You are pretty much as similarly likely to get a Phase 2 as a ruby, as a black pearl, as any of this stuff. So, it's not like the rubies and sapphires and black pearls are more rare than the phases anymore. So that's making them all kind of on common ground and ending up with them all having the same supply. And people are kind of realizing that Phase 2 is actually kind of unique and kind of cool in CS2. When you have Sapphire that actually looks like one of the other phases, I believe it's like Phase 3 and Sapphire kind of look the same. It's not as crazy. You have the rubies, which are really cool, and the black pearls, which are really cool, but you have the Phase 2s, which just because they don't have some cool name like ruby or sapphire or whatever, they're still pretty distinct, pretty interesting, and then the nice little pink color really pops on the Phase 2s. And they've maybe just been underrated for a long time, or maybe since they've been more common than the gems, they've been, maybe accurately priced lower or whatever. But now that these things are all kind of becoming equally as common, the Phase 2s are getting a little bit more love, and they're shooting up in price, which has been pretty interesting to see. Again, in the past week, you have 30, 30, 30, 18, 13, 7, 3% gains on all this different stuff. And I kind of get it. I mean, I think these things were maybe just slept on for too long. Now, could there be market manipulation? Could there be some people, buying up a lot of the supply and hanging on to it, and they're trying to dump it and all this blah, blah, blah? I don't know. I don't get into that stuff too much. I don't really care. I'm a long-term investor. I'm not a short-term investor anyway. So even if people do want to market manipulate or pump and dump or whatever, if you own good stuff with good fundamentals for the long term, you can't really get caught up in that stuff too much, because again, the best of the best items are going to have organic continual growth over time. But yeah, I mean, obviously be careful. Obviously, it seems like at the very least things are a little bit bubbly right now, but potentially be manipulated or whatever, but also potentially just people are really, really hot on gems and Doppler knives and stuff like that, and the prices are going crazy. So Phase 2 owners are having a good day. What do you guys think? When will it crash? But again, everyone is looking for a crash. Everyone out there just thinks anytime things go up, if anything goes up in the CS2 markets at all, everyone instantly says, oh, market manipulation. Oh, this is a bubble. Oh, this is going to crash. But look at the history of CS2. The graphs of all iconic items are pretty much just like straight up over time. So I don't know, every time throughout the entire history, every time things have gone up, it's been market manipulation or a crash or a bubble that's going to crash or whatever. But we haven't really seen throughout the CS2 history that many crashes. We've seen market manipulation before, we've seen pump and dumps before, we've seen small minor things like that, but overall it's not like we've had like systemic just rises and crashes and rises and crashes. Like the best stuff has just pretty much gone up a pretty nice percentage every year over time, and that's because the player base continues to grow. And as the player base continues to grow, you have more people buying items, you have more money in the markets, you have more people unboxing cases, you have all that stuff, so it makes sense why this stuff would be growing naturally. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily natural growth at this time, but I am saying, there are reasons why this stuff could be, fake or artificial or bubbly, but there's also some reasons why some of this could be some organic growth and stuff as well. And obviously we're talking about a video game marketplace. It's not going to act by normal like investment standards or financial rules or anything like that. You're going to see some crazy growth and crazy numbers sometimes, especially in something with such a small market cap and such a 4.5 billion overall. That sounds like a crazy number, but it's really not that much at the end of the day, and it can obviously be moved very, very crazy. But we do see here that a butterfly Doppler phase 2 is now more expensive than a karambit sapphire. We have all kinds of, things that have historically been one way getting passed up, and prices rising and certain prices not rising. Because even though there's so many things pumping right now, there's a lot of things that are also not pumping at the same time. So, you got to kind of get lucky that your money's been in the right places. This guy says, greetings from 2020 where I sold butterfly knife Dopplers, including phase 2s for $600. And obviously I assume those are much, 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 much more expensive than $600 at this point. Zipple, he chimed in on all the craziness, and he said, how does Zipple make money in CS? He wakes up in 2021, he buys a butterfly knife phase 2 for $933. He lends it to Art CSGO. He forgets he lended it. Remember that you lend it. See, it's now almost $10,000. Forget it about it again, and then hey, here we are. So he's made a nice 10,000% gain in like 4 years. That's pretty crazy. That works out very, very well. I think step 8 is get scammed, but not sure. So he's going to have to be careful there. But yeah, if he bought this knife for $900 in 2021 and it's now $10,000, hey, that's a nice little come up. But it also just shows, that Zipple is just in a class of his own in terms of investing and in terms of market knowledge, and probably in terms of getting lucky a little bit as well. Ivan says, another manipulation by China, or what is happening with phase 2 Dopplers. I bought the M9 phase 2 just before the pump. Great time to cash them out. Or is this the new gem era? So again, there's at least some other people out there who are thinking, hey, maybe this is just gems making a big rise or come up or whatever. But this guy says, what is happening is insane. It's not normal. In just one day, they can buy out 20 to 30% of the entire listings. In the last 2 days, karambit Doppler phase 2 dropped from 172 to just 86 on sale. The Chinese bought it all. This market is completely broken. And this guy says, no, it's not the market that's broken, it's just buff that is broken. The supply of skins on buff is low AF, and still people use it as a price reference when they shouldn't. It's a closed off market for Chinese only, and supply is much lower than it should be. It doesn't take much money, especially in groups, to to move a supply of a certain skin. And that's kind of what I agree with as well. If there's only 172 of these skins, like at the end of the day, there's people with a lot of money. There's people who can buy up, 80 skins, even if they're really, really expensive, even at $10,000 or $5,000 or $2,000 or whatever. And yeah, that's going to move the markets in a big way. And could it be, something nefarious? Could it just be people buying stuff up? Whatever. Who knows? Like I said, I don't get too big into conspiracies too much. I'm not going to stress or lose sleep about stupid stuff like that. But this guy also said, make it make sense. Karambit and butterfly gamma Doppler are almost the same price. But the difference between the normal butterfly and karambit Doppler is about a $4,000 difference. This is clearly not natural. Surely there will be a correction soon, right? And it's like, yeah, there could be a correction, or maybe it's going to go the other way where the low price is going to catch up to the high price. I don't necessarily know. Obviously, there are things to be careful about. There are things to be worried about, and if you are in the market for buying some of these expensive items or the big gems or anything right now, maybe be a little bit careful. Maybe be a little bit worried. Maybe you want to wait a little bit, but also maybe, these are just the new prices in some cases too as well. I don't really know, but either way, it's super entertaining to watch. It's been crazy to see all the different stuff that everyone's tweeting about, but either way, I am happy and excited that the CS2 markets are at an all-time high, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next and what's going to go up and down in price and all this different stuff. But yeah, pretty much it was the video today, guys. Hopefully catch you next one. Until then, peace.